Do you want to get your business in front of over 100,000 viewers every month? Advertise with 321 and enjoy the best value in local advertising while supporting free community live streams. Your message will be seen across live high school sports, morning shows, and local events, connecting you directly with engaged audiences, boosting your visibility, growing your brand, and helping us keep these broadcasts accessible to everyone for free. Partner with 321 today and watch your business thrive. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Ocean Community Chamber Business Over Breakfast. I almost said that this was 50 under 50. It is not 50 under 50. I have just done 40 of those interviews, and I'm going a little insane. Welcome to the show, though. It is Business Over Breakfast on Thursday, June 12th. 2025, and I am very excited because today Lisa Kanicki is with us, as well as Elyssa and Brian from Black Velvet Inc. How are you guys?
Great.
I'm good.
All good, Ben.
Excellent. And Lisa, I would be remiss if we did not start with, oh, what just happened there? Boom. I hit the wrong preset, and all of a sudden we shot the wall for a second.
All right.
Lisa, tell me about our spread this morning.
Well, you know, I like to bring a little morning breakfast of some kind, since it is called Business Over Breakfast. And today we stopped at Fresh Cup Cafe. They're over on East Avenue, and they always have the freshest items, pastries, quiches, amazing fresh made to order sandwiches. So came with a muffin with ham, egg, and cheese, which you or someone in the room other than me is going to enjoy this morning. A blueberry muffin, and then I don't know, the pink cookie. I think it was the strawberry rhubarb cookie. But
it looks amazing.
I like the color. I thought it added a little something, and you can't go wrong with anything you get at Fresh Cup.
No, I agree with that. Nothing at Fresh Cup is a bad choice. And Elyssa, it was a serendipitous moment that that Lisa went to Fresh Cup this morning.
Yes.
Tell us why.
Well, the owner of Fresh Cup, Jamie, is a big supporter of the tattoo shop, and I'm actually tattooing her later today. So it was wild. Yeah. Worked out perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome. We yesterday I had my nephew. I was hanging out with my nephew, and he was like, it was during the workday, and he was like, I want to go film stuff. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, I want to do what you do. I want to go in and film stuff.
Aww.
And I'll just tell the people that I'm there for 321 kids. And I was like, that's not a thing. And he was like, yeah, he was like, I'm just going to, he was like, you stay in the car. I'm going to go in, I'm going to ask for permission to film, and then I'm going to film around. And I was like, okay, where do you want to go, buddy? And he was like, Fresh Cup. So he went into Fresh Cup and he talked to them, and he filmed around for a minute, and he went over to the counter and was like, can I film you making coffee? And so he went behind and filmed them like making coffee and stuff. So they're so sweet. We love Jamie and her team over at Fresh Cup.
Yeah, super hardworking, and it's just a comfortable, clean environment. And that's great. Maybe there is a future for him with his own show, or future chamber intern making reels.
There you go.
You never know.
There you go. He's only 10, so
all right. Never
he's
too soon.
He's got a while. He's got a while to
Get
go.
a kid's outlook.
Never
That's
too
different,
soon.
you know.
Yeah.
See it a little lower view.
Yeah.
But it all speaks to this tight-knit community, how everyone's sort of connected in one way or another. And that was awesome to hear about Jamie. So are you allowed to reveal what design you're going to be doing? Or is that like under wraps?
Yeah, no, I can. So we are working on like an old school monster leg sleeve. So we've done like Frankenstein, the Bride of Frankenstein. We did the Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh,
and
wow.
Today we are doing Dracula. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So she has a whole leg sleeve going, but she's been tattooed by our other artist. She's gotten some like pastries tattooed on her. She has a croissant that Rachel did. I think she has a thing of French fries. I did a portrait of her pug. So yeah, so she's been like, she's gone to other artists at the shop and has been a big supporter. And like through that, like I know you go to Fresh Cup all the time, right?
I go, probably a couple times a month at least.
Yeah.
So stop in there.
For a second, I thought he was going to say
Coffee
a couple times a day, and I was like, I think you might have a caffeine issue.
Oh, we all do. Trust me.
What? This is okay. Before we get into like what is Black Ink, or Black Velvet Ink, do you, because this is just very curious to me, someone like Jamie who has a lot of tattoos, or someone like me who has never had a tattoo, which one is more exciting for you to have in the chair? Someone who's getting their first tattoo or someone who's finishing a sleeve, for example?
You go on this.
It's kind of neat to do someone's first tattoo. It can be pretty exciting for. I mean, it's obviously a much bigger deal for that person than it is for the person who's got tattoos everywhere. It's kind of can be a very intimidating experience or like a very exciting experience. Someone who comes in covered with tattoos, they're like, all right, what's next? You know, and just kind of throwing the next thing on there. But at least someone with that's got a bunch of tattoos is kind of a known kind of a thing where
been through the process.
They kind of know what to expect. They know what's going on. So it makes it a little bit easier. But it's like I don't know exactly how old she was, probably in her 60s, just walk in the door a couple weeks ago, and she got her first tattoo. It was awesome. We got to hang out, and it went super well. And she's got a little bit of lettering on her wrist, and it's really cool to get to do. And she came back with her husband a week later to get his first tattoo.
Oh, neat.
That's
awesome. Pretty cool. Yeah.
So you've never had that, or have you ever had that like sitcom trope of like, I'm gonna get my first tattoo, and then the needle touches, and they're like, nope, I'm out. And then I don't remember what sitcom it was, but somebody was like,
Friends.
Yes,
it Friends?
she's like, look, it's the world. It's just a tiny little dot. It's the world, the perspective from space. So it really is the,
that doesn't normally happen.
That would be me. I would go, yeah, absolutely, I'm gonna do it, and then I would bail immediately. I'm sure, which is why I'm not the person to get tattoos. But anyway.
There's a lot of prep kind of in a way. Like you have to put the
sure.
stencil on. You have, you're talking to them. Like we can tell like if someone's nervous, things like that. So we can kind of gauge how they'll act and stuff. So usually it doesn't happen. I think that would be nipped in the bud just during the design process,
Yes.
How long is that, the design process? Like what's involved in just that? It's in and of itself.
Huge range.
It could be 5 minutes, could be 3 or 4 hours.
Could
Wow.
be
More,
days.
yeah.
I mean, I do really large scale pieces. So I'll like send a rough sketch, talk a few days, and then get back to it a few days later, work on it for a couple hours. Like it could be 5 minutes to like, months of even just talking about stuff.
Yeah.
I assume some people come in with like something scratched out on a little cocktail napkin too.
Sometimes,
like, can you do something like this? Or
we like
here's my daughter's artwork. Can you do this?
Yeah. And like, sometimes we kind of joke, like we'll take those designs and then make them like a good tattoo. And we kind of want to I've joked about making a coffee table book of like the client's designs. But
Cute.
That would be
And
awesome.
the finished tattoo.
Yeah. Where it started and where it ended.
Yeah. We get some interesting drawings though, for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, everything's so personal, right?
Yeah.
It has a meaning to somebody. Sometimes it's just fun. Sometimes it's a memorial to an individual.
Sometimes we'll get like a limb. I'll get a limb sent to me, and then it's like just emojis, like just on like I want the flower here, I want a skull here, and it's just like emojis, and then you have to like draw from there.
That's probably the fun part, right?
Yeah,
That's where you really let your creativity flow.
For sure.
There's a lot of trust too involved in the process. It's like we said, it's super personal. There's touch involved. There's hours sometimes of conversation with this person. Probably they walk in strangers and they leave like you got to know a little bit of their soul because they're talking to you about their story or whatever it is inspired them to walk through your doors that day. That part's kind of neat.
It's crazy. Like we kind of joke, like you'll have a client sometimes you work on for like once a month for 5 years or something. Like it can be long. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you might hit a point where their pieces are done or, and then you're like, okay, have a nice life. Like you just don't know really what to say because you've seen this person once a month for like 5 years, whatever. And then it's just kind of this awkward, like, okay, bye. Like
That's awesome.
So when it takes 5 years, I got to ask, is that because the work is so intense that you can only do so much at a time? Or is it because it's such a large piece and it's going to be expensive that they're on kind of like a payment system and it's going to take that, or a little bit of both? Like, why would it take 5 years? Is it
It could be both. I mean, you've got to wait a little bit of time in between appointments, but I mean, our schedules, being able to fit other clients in can be a factor. How often can they take a day off work to come down and get tattooed? How often can they afford to come get tattooed? And then like how big and intricate is the piece they're working on? So, I mean, we've done sleeves and back pieces that could take a dozen sessions, like easily. And that's, if you do once a month is pretty typical for a bigger project. Sometimes we have people doing like twice a month, or they space it out a little bit more if it's a little bit expensive for them, or there are other reasons that they can't come in quite that often. But yeah, there's all kinds of reasons that things might take that long. And like we have some clients that are like, I want to get this done, and like we can't generally accommodate, like, because we have at least the two of us have like a fairly large clientele, so we have booked out a couple of months at a time at least. So like I can only fit them in a certain number of times. But like once in a while, somebody's like, all right, I'm gonna sneak in like twice this week, and then once next week, and then and then try and get in as often as they can. But I don't know. I think once a month is pretty typical for bigger projects like that.
And sometimes like clients, like I have a handful that have just been, I call them like OG clients, and they've just, we'll do a piece, and then like few months later, they just want something else. And then so I just keep their deposit rolling and rolling and rolling. And like, I think one of my clients, I looked at the deposit date because I was like sorting through my paperwork, and I think it said like 2015 or 14 or something was when he left the deposit. And I was
hasn't
like,
gotten it done.
No. He just keeps coming back for just random stuff. Like, yeah. So it's just like funny because it'll like just, I might not see him for a few months, but then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I want something. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, what do you want? And just, that's that.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was your first tattoo? Elyssa, you go first.
Oh, mine was interesting. So the guy had just gotten out of jail the day before, and I was working in New London, and he was my mentor's client. But he wanted, this is not, do I recommend a first timer's tattoo? By all means. But it was $2 signs, but in like a graffiti style, like up on his traps, which as a seasoned tattoo artist is a very hard spot to tattoo. So as a day one tattoo artist, you should not have done that.
Oh, no.
Didn't come out that good, but whatever. So that was my first one.
I think my first one was just some kanji on somebody that was looking to get a cheap tattoo from an apprentice. So just the Japanese lettering. I don't remember what it said.
Now,
probably didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Now, I love those two answers. What's funny is that I was actually asking you guys both
What
have
their
ink.
personal.
What your first tattoo?
I knew what you meant.
I thought
Yeah.
so too,
I
and then
didn't.
she answered the other way.
Sorry.
I was
It
like,
could have
I'm just
gone
gonna
either
follow
way.
it.
I
Pretend-
loved
we're just gonna
those.
pretend.
I loved those answers, and
Yeah.
I'm not mad about
That
it.
was a good question.
Oh,
but
that's funny. Okay, take it back.
so personally, your first.
my
tattoo
first
on
one.
your
Well,
body.
actually, Elyssa, can I be honest with you? I was like, you let someone that just got out of jail the day
Not your
before
body.
tattoo
Never
you.
know.
I was so like, okay, Alyssa, jeez, and then
So
you
when
were
I
like,
was in jail, no, just kidding. No,
which would be fine.
It
but
was
yeah,
riveting.
anyway. Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, no, take that back. My first one I think I was 19 or 20. And it was at Flats in Groton.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember who the artist was. It was a while ago, but it was actually this swirl thing on my hands. It has like a Leo symbol in it. And I went with like my aunt and one of my friends at the time, and it was just like a fun thing. And the tattoo artist, I'll give him credit. He tried to convince me to not get it on my hands because I was like 19 or 20. But I was in school for painting, and I was like, oh, I'm already in school for art. Like, I'll be fine. And lo and behold, I'm doing this now. But I give that artist solid credit to tell the, 19, 20-year-old don't get a hand tattoo.
Right.
But it still looks great. So
There you go.
whatever. It was good.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, Brian.
So I didn't have any tattoos for a while. I actually tattooed for 4 years without any tattoos at all.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then I met like one of my favorite artists. I had an appointment with him to start this sleeve, and it was a few weeks before that appointment, and I was getting kind of nervous about it, and I wanted something to put my mind at ease because going to get tattooed at a big convention, there's going to be tons of people walking around. I was like, I should probably do a little something to like kind of calm the nerves a little bit for this. So I actually had Elyssa do the small serotonin molecule above my knee.
Aw.
Yeah, it was like a week or two before I went to
Yeah.
get my sleeve started.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I sweated through a t-shirt. It was, I mean, it
Oh,
was, it was
no.
fine, but like and actually, I think it was probably a good idea, but like, it was fine.
Now,
you know.
during those 4 years where
Yeah.
you were a tattoo artist with no tattoos, did you, did anybody like go like, why don't you have any tattoos?
It's like when you see a skinny chef and you
Yes.
go,
Yeah.
I'm not going to eat here.
Exactly. Like, why? Like, not why, but I don't know. I kind of, if I'm going into a tattoo parlor, I kind of want.
Well, you expect.
I
to
would.
see.
You would expect, but but also, yeah, I would be like, why don't you have sleeves? Why do, like?
Yeah, I don't.
And that may be very.
I don't know. It's like more of like a collecting artwork thing, and I finally got a chance to get tattooed by my favorite artist. I don't really know exactly why. I didn't have any specific thing I really like.
Oh, I'm not
wanted.
judging you, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm just asking if.
Oh
you
yeah,
have,
no, I know.
If anybody ever asked that question.
Oh
like,
yeah,
while they were in your
I definitely
chair.
had a few, not so much in the chair, but I definitely had a few people like outside, like, oh, I tattoos, like, do you? Are you sure you tattoo? Like, you don't have any tattoos? And I had a couple people that like, I do remember one or two people that like, I wouldn't let you tattoo me.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, I think it was 4 years of tattooing without any tattoos at all.
That's very
Okay, weird
interesting.
question. Do you tattoo yourself?
You can. I mean, I never have. I actually like kind of hate getting tattooed, even though I have a lot. But there's a lot of people that do. I mean, I've seen people tattoo their legs and whatever. I've seen videos of people tattooing their necks, like in the mirror. Like,
Ouch.
yeah, you can. It's
Doing their own lip, like
Yeah.
lip liner.
it's a special kind of crazy
Yeah.
though. Those people.
Lip blush.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How did Black Velvet come to be?
So we were stuck in the lockdowns in 2020. We were not able to work for 3 months. And at the time, things were like, obviously, it was very early on in the whole COVID thing. I was working at a shop in Groton at the time, and it was a little bit concerning because, again, we didn't really know what was going on yet. But I was a little bit concerned about going back into a shop. There was a lot of people in a small room. And wanted to do something a little bit more private, maybe. So I started looking to opening a private studio. I was looking in the Velvet Mill. And then one night, Elyssa happened to have my wife and I over for dinner. We were talking, and it was the same night, which is like one night every other week that the Stonington Borough zoning officer guy is in the office. So I had to make a phone call in the middle of dinner. Elyssa asked me, why do you have to call Stonington Borough zoning? And I told her what was going on, and she wanted in. So
Yeah,
That's cool.
So back up a little bit. Brian and I worked together for years. We mentored under the same or apprenticed under the same person, worked at New London Inc. for years. And then he ended up leaving and worked in Groton, but we always stayed in touch. So when he brought that up, I was kind of looking at like, I need to do something else. Like I was, I like the shop I worked at, but I kind of was just looking at something else. And then, lockdown happened. So then when he said that, I had a couple drinks and I was like, so do you want a business partner? And then we were like, okay, let's, wait. And then the next day we were like, no, seriously, like, do we want to do this? And he had a meeting at the Velvet Mill to look at a studio. And so I went and we were just like, okay, let's do it. Let's go. So at first we were in one location there. We stayed there for like a month and a half. And then we moved.
We started in July in the first location. And then we were, I think it was October or September, October. So it was like a month or two.
And then we moved like to a different studio but we're in the mill. And so we kind of, like thought of the business name, whatever. And cause we were like, what are we going to do? I think within a month, we kind of got everything together.
Yeah.
But it was just us two. I had an apprentice at the time that did eyebrows, microblading eyebrows. And so we started up there. And then over 3 years, we got on 2 apprentices, got another couple artists. We just kind of slowly started to expand. And then we kind of hit a point where we talked about moving to Westerly. That was kind of like our goal. But we didn't know what the zoning was like because it was actually bans down here until like 3 years ago ish, right? 3 or 4 years ago.
think so.
Yeah. And so we didn't know if it was even doable. We knew we could do Westerly, but we didn't know if downtown was doable. So one of our artists saw the listing for where we're at on Facebook, and she just sent it to us randomly. Cool. And we were like, yeah, let's go check it out. And even if we just meet a realtor, whatever. Brian had just had a baby. So I was like, I don't know if this is going to happen right now. We got a lot going on. But as soon as we went and looked, Brian was like, let's do it. And I was like, all right, let's go. Like, let's figure this out and make this happen. And thankfully our landlord was really cool. He was like, if you have any issues, like I'll help you guys. And we know we have family and stuff in the city. So we had a lot of support. But it's been cool. And we've been here this August. August will be a year. And this July 25th is our 5-year anniversary. Cool. 21st technically our anniversary, but the 25th we'll have 5-year anniversary party. We're gonna have the ribbon cutting, and it's gonna be a whole big shindig because we can't believe it's been 5 years already.
Yeah, it's wild.
Awesome. That's awesome. And I will get my first tattoo live.
You will?
No.
Oh,
I was kidding. I was kidding.
Oh, Ben.
I shouldn't open my mouth.
Live wild.
No.
I
can't start doing that.
I love the
then she'll
story
make
of
me
the
jump out of
friendship
planes.
and being coworkers, and then kind of like
I mean, we would
teaming on your
travel like
dream.
conventions and stuff together. We did Hawaii.
Yep.
We did a lot of like local ones together and stuff. So lucky for us, like we knew how he worked.
Yeah, you knew you were compatible in terms of being in a small space for long periods of time, and your workforce culture is super important.
Yes.
Even when you guys were just chatting before we started, when Lisa went down to the car to get the stuff from Fresh Cup, like I was like, oh my god, they're like best friends. Like it's so like it was so nice and casual, and like how are you how was your night, like how was blah 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 blah. I was like, this is so like you guys genuinely care about each other, and that was like it was very sweet to see.
Oh yeah, I've sent him like text messages freaking out about stuff. I've had like we've gone through like the gamut. Especially running a business is hard.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I've got a partner.
Same.
And and just I don't know, like just always sending the reminders of all the silly things we've done.
We're yin and yang. That's what we say.
Time hop and stuff. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I'm like the crazy control like freak, and he's like the more. We're like mom and dad. Like our artists will be like
they call us mom and dad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, like I'm like everything like scheduled. Let's get all this stuff, and then he's just like, "Oh, it's all right. Don't worry."
Oh, that's good.
But it works.
Yeah, you found a way.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm curious.
Go ahead.
What you said you knew all along you wanted to be in Westerly, which is great. I mean, obviously, Ocean Community Chamber, we cover both areas. We have members in both areas. We promote both. But I'm just curious, why Westerly? What made you know early on that Westerly as a town was where you wanted to be? And then, we'll find a location, as opposed to where you started, in the Mill, which is a really artistic venue and kind of cool. And I'm aware of some of the challenges of the Mill.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to get into, we're never going to say anything negative, but just you had your sights set on Westerly.
I just thought it'd be like a neat little downtown area to be in. There's not the Mill's great. It's a little tough most of the week there. A lot of the businesses are closed.
It's not the foot traffic.
Yeah. Then like Elyssa and I didn't so much need the foot traffic, but the other artists that joined us kind of did. They're newer to tattooing. We have 2 apprentices, so they came up here. So they need to build their own clientele, and without people, once in a while you'd get someone walking in the door, but I think we've had more people walk in the door in the last year we've been here than we've ever had. We had the entire 4 years we were in the Mill. We were also on the back side, like the back corner of the Mill, so that didn't help either. But I don't know. So we thought it'd be a cool little just kind of downtown area to be in, a little bit more public facing.
I mean, I kind of half grew up here. My grandparents lived in Westerly. My mom lives here now. My husband's family is a big family in the area. Shout out to the Leslie family. But I always loved it down here too. And like my mom's a really big community supporter, as you know. And like, and so I don't know, like just hearing about all the events and stuff down here too was like cool because we were like, oh, we could be part of a community a little bit more. Along with like getting the walk-in traffic and stuff. And we did that at the Velvet Mill. We were like part of the events and we were like, this is cool. Like, I think we just kind of wanted to like step it up with that also like not, there's a couple shops in the area. So we thought like, why not? If you bring in more shops, it brings in more business. It becomes, like a lot of people know Groton for tattoos and stuff. So like, why can't Westerly, they already have a huge art scene. Why can't this just add another like element to like the art and stuff, but and also it's gorgeous down here. Like it's such a beautiful downtown.
And your spot's great. I mean, while you were on the, as you say, the back side of the Velvet Mill, I actually prefer that side because it's really easy parking.
Yeah.
And the light is great on that side of the building.
The problem is the address brings you people all the time. People like, I'm here, but I can't find you guys.
I don't know where you
it's
are.
like, get back in your car, drive around.
No, it's definitely a challenge. There's like 13 doors to the Velvet Mill. It is definitely a challenge. That's a great incubator space. So when I think about it,
everybody says that.
Like Valamy, she started there, and now where is she? She's in our community on the bridge in downtown.
And if you guys don't leave, then you can't get new businesses in that incubator.
Oh, I like the way.
So,
passing it on to the next.
Yeah, they're kind of flourishing and growing.
And now it's a salon and a hair salon. I think they're doing really good there. So
good for them.
Looks great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
I mean, it was perfect for us. Like it was an incubator and it was great. Like we had a great community there. We liked a lot of the people, other businesses that kind of started at the same time. For us, again, like we didn't really need the walk-up business, but it helped us like get the name for the business, get everything kind of settled, like get some apprentices, some artists working with us. And then we got to go from there. So we were really lucky to have that like stepping stone.
So I assume the Velvet was referring to the Velvet Mill when you picked your name and you were sitting down running through all these names.
The name was tough for us. I think like since we did it so quickly, we were kind of like, what are we going to do? And I was very adamant about not having the name be the town, not anything against Stonington, but it was like, if we leave, we want to be able to change the name.
A little more generic, a little more.
But I think
broad.
like the Velvet was kind of nice because it's like homage to where we started. Also, like we do a lot of black and gray tattoos. He does a lot of color too, like 50-50, but I do mostly all black and gray. So it's kind of like, oh, black velvet, like black and gray tattoos. Like, I don't know.
No, it works. So, it definitely works.
Yeah. But there was a lot of back and forth.
Oh, I can imagine.
I wasn't crazy about it at first, but I think it's worked out pretty well. It's also been funny since we moved, like we had a lot of questions, a lot of people asking, are you guys changing the name? Like, just because we're not going to be in the Velvet Mill anymore. I was like, no, we're not going to.
Yeah, no, that's a bad idea. That's a really bad idea.
Yeah. But one of the main reasons he did, I have to say, one of the main reasons he didn't is because there's a crappy whiskey called Black Velvet, which I've tried and actually wasn't that bad.
Well, when I was in college, I don't know what it costs now, but when I was in college, the handle was like $13. So like,
wow. Yeah,
and then he's like, and
it's
there's a song too. I'm like, I know, I love that.
It's a great song.
I know, thank you.
It's a great song. It's very sultry.
Yeah. So it was. I love these are all great reasons, Brian.
Yeah.
I actually just had another chamber member, Stonington Power, in here talking, and they did name it after the town, and then are now in Ashaway.
Oh,
and what's funny though is that he said more people came in when they were in Stonington and asked what the name was about than in Ashaway, and now everybody's like, why are you? And he's like, oh, now you understand that we're named after the town. Wow, when we were in Stonington, no one knew it. So I'm glad that it's not Stonington, Stonington Inc., which is a fine name, but Black Velvet's just cool.
It is,
right?
It's just way cooler.
It's like a joke in the tattoo community. Like if you put the word like black in front of like a shop name, it just makes it sound way cooler. Because there's so many, but whatever. I'll take it.
It's all good. It's all good. Also, when people, if they're Googling or if they're looking at a list, B is second letter of the alphabet. You're only going to come up second to anyone with an A. And what are the chances of that? So there's really, that's one of the first things they teach you in marketing, you know, is
I've never
I-
taken.
yeah.
As two business owners, we have never taken any.
Well, that was just good luck.
classes like
That was just a good decision.
An art degree and a chemistry degree.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why when that's why when the Yellow Pages ruled the world, there were so many like AAA photos and like stuff like that because you wanted to be
At the beginning.
at the beginning.
I remember when Wendy named her Mexican restaurant. You know, she
Amigos.
sold Primetime and she thought hard over what her name was going to be. She picked Amigos. And yes, Amigos, obviously friends, and it's a nice name, but it's also an A, you know? So when you get 6 Mexican restaurants in one community, she wanted hers to be at the top. And similarly, I met with a business owner in downtown Mystic about maybe 3 months ago. I won't say the name of the business, but it's a great restaurant who decided to put all new furniture and paint and make it look different. And they said, while we're refreshing the inside, let's change the name. Same food, same awesome service, same owner, but they changed the name. And she said, worst decision I ever made. Worst.
Really? Wow.
Because they had an established clientele who now thought they went out of business and were hesitant to try the new place.
Yeah.
And she said, even though nothing has changed other than we spent thousands of dollars refreshing the inside of the building to make it look better, and we wasted money on a new name and new signage and everything, she said, I would never do that again. Ironically, now she's going to be buying another restaurant in Groton very soon. And my first question was, you going to keep the name? Because that business is 40 years old.
Oh, yeah.
And she says, absolutely, I'm keeping the name.
Yeah.
100%, I'm keeping the name.
I mean, and it takes a while to get a name going. Like, I mean, we've been doing this 5 years, and now we're starting to see the feedback of it. Like, people in the community, oh, I heard about you guys, like, at conventions and stuff.
Cool.
Like, oh, you know, so it's like, yeah, we can't change the name. Like, people know it now.
Yep. All right. So I have a technical question as a person that doesn't have a tattoo. Once you get a tattoo, do you have to like use SPF 50 or 75 to keep the colors vibrant?
Question.
Because I mean, if you have, I see some that are gorgeous florals and I admire them. I love them. I'm too squeamish. I would cry the whole time. I don't think I could do it, but I love them. But I think, is that going to fade in 5 or 10 years if you're a sun worshiper and you go to the beach all the time? Is there special care required?
I mean, it will. I mean, it's kind of like anything else. Old sign that sits out in the sun all day, every day, those colors are gonna fade on that sign. It's the same thing with a tattoo, basically. Maybe more so because it's sitting in the skin, which will age and kind of tend to fade and blur a little tiny bit over time. The more you're out in the sun, the less you kind of take care of like yourself in general, like the faster it will age. But you know, I tell people like just a little bit of sunscreen will go a long way to keeping that looking better longer. But like, don't never go to the beach again, or don't like, you know, you don't have to like, I don't cover, if I'm going to be out in the sun for like an hour or two, I'll throw some sunscreen on my arm. And it's, you know, you probably should be wearing sunscreen if you're going to be out all day in the sun anyway.
Sure.
But yeah, a little bit of sunscreen will go. Just regular old sunscreen. You don't need to buy the special tattoo sunscreen or
I didn't
any
even
of
know
those
there,
kind
I
of
didn't know there
gimmicky
was
things.
tattoos.
Yeah,
That's
any,
just like
any old
gimmick.
sunscreen.
A gimmick,
Yeah.
a shtick.
You could just do regular sunscreen. I mean, I wear like 30 all summer just because general skin protection. But sun is a killer of tattoos. So like, please wear sunscreen. And like another thing on top of that, like if you're coming to get tattooed, do not be sunburnt. That's like a huge no-no, and we can't really tattoo you if you're sunburned, and it's also going to hurt.
Also, if you were sunburned like a week ago and it hasn't totally, like I put a stencil on somebody before and started tattooing, and you go to start wiping the ink away and just that skin starts peeling away and all the stencil just disappears. And
so it's like prep. You got to prep, you know, a few weeks before your appointment, 2 weeks after. You have to stay out of the sun, stay out of the water. You know, there is a little bit of preparation, especially in the summertime. So if anyone is listening and thinking about getting tattooed in the summer, keep it in mind. But you know, but then you get to show it off after and you're cool.
See, I've been on the fence about getting a tattoo for 37 years, and that's why I never go out in the sun.
Oh, really?
Just to
That's the
just in
that's the
case.
reason.
Just in
You're in
case.
constant state of preparation.
I always be ready. Oh, you have to
Proud of
always
you.
be ready for a tattoo. And so
You never know. We
I
could
just-
come and attack.
exactly. So, that's why I need to be the complexion of mayonnaise.
Gosh.
All right, more technical questions. I think some people will do it on a whim. My daughter being one, with the tattoo of the
Uh-oh,
word
do we hear
Ohio,
it?
Ohio on the inside of her lip.
Oh boy.
That they
It
told would
stayed?
fade
Oh.
out after 6 months, and she's graduated college. Oh, I don't know, 7 years ago, and it's still very vibrant. She
That's
got
a
her
good
money's
tattoo
worth.
artist.
So, are there things like you shouldn't be drunk or have alcohol in your system for some reason? Like not because you're going to be unruly or too chatty or whatever, but is there like a legit reason body wise why you shouldn't be do that? Or are there other things that people should know prior to coming in that you just shouldn't be doing that?
Yeah, definitely the drinking. Drinking the night before too doesn't really help. It can make you bleed more. It thins out your blood. So then what's kind of happening is while we're tattooing you and you're bleeding more, it's kind of pushing out the ink. So it's harder for us to tattoo it in. And then on top of it, yes, being like annoying and drunk and stuff is just not fun.
No garlic the night before.
Yeah.
Right? No garlic dinner.
Yeah, breathing, coffee, cigarette breath, not
Don't
fun.
come in sick,
Shower,
obviously, with a cough
Don't
or
come
anything.
straight from the gym.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, you just like getting a good night's sleep the night before and like eating
you're
before you come
relaxed
in
and-
and making sure if you're going to be there for a longer day, bring some food with you, have some
Hydrated.
water.
Yeah.
Bring food
don't
with
be
you.
hungover.
So you like take periods of like, okay, we're going to stop for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
And
you might get tattooed for 4 or 6 hours, and like,
so when do
probably
you
want some-
stop? When like the tattoo artist is like, I'm just spent, I'm done for now?
Yeah.
Or you have a goal of, you put a stencil on and you're like, we're not stopping until this thing is complete. How do you know when today's session's over?
Usually, typically you want to get the outline done at least, so you can come back to it without having to re-stencil anything. But usually, I don't know, one person or the other will be over it at some point, whether it's the client just has had enough of getting tattooed. It's not the most fun thing in the world, or
Sometimes it's financial. Like they can only afford, like, let's say they're doing like a huge back piece. It's obviously going to take tons of hours. So they're like, okay, we just are doing 4 hours worth of work today. And that's financially what they can afford to,
Makes sense.
Yeah. So
some clients, it's like, I know like they have 3 hours in them and it's financial, or it's just, I can sit and get tattooed for 3 hours and that's it. Or, some people sit all day. Some people sit multiple days in a row. Some people, it just depends. And then, I don't know, my limit personally for like when I need to stop looking at this and do something else is probably about 5 hours at the most.
Wow, that's a long time to concentrate on something.
That is a very long time.
But you take breaks. Like I do pretty consistent booking because I do a lot of large projects, so it's pretty consistent. And I'll take a break every 2 hours. So I'll start at like 11:30. We usually break at 1:30, eat something, drink, go to the bathroom, yada yada for like 10 minutes. You don't want breaks to be too long because then when you come back in, it kind of makes the pain worse, So then you take 10, 15 minutes. Some artists do longer, some do shorter, and then get back to it for another 2 hours. And then like we're done, or whatever, go from there. But
okay, more technical questions.
I love it.
Scars.
Mm-hmm.
Do they take well to tattoos or do they not? Because that skin's a lot different,
Yeah. So it depends on the scar. It depends on where it is on the body. A lot of it depends on how long it's been healing, how deep it was, a lot of things like that. I mean, we can kind of gauge if it's tattooable by looking at it. If it's that like fresh kind of pink, like, I don't know, like smooth kind of fresh scar, that's a no-go. Like the ink's going to blend. It's going to be a mess. If it's like it's been healed for like 5+ years, again, depending on what it is, it's okay. But we will try to cater the designs usually to like avoid any sort of like disruption to the tattoo and stuff, but it's doable.
So the skin is literally different and the ink takes to it differently than it would.
Yeah. And sometimes like depending on why you have the scar, like there could be numb spots on the body. Or
I was thinking like
things
C-section scars,
Mhm.
which are big and
Yeah.
you know, not so pretty.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you do with that? You know, can you do like a little vine of
Yeah.
with flowers or I don't know. And does that skin work?
Yeah, I mean, we would say again, like wait a while for those to heal, especially because those are like full incision, you know, cuts. So definitely give it at least like 4 or 5 years, depending. And then also try to like, I know it's hard to plan these things, but like make sure you're done having kids. You don't want to like get the tattoo
Reopen up the C-section.
Yeah, and then like it gets all ruined. You spent all that time and money.
Just add a few more roses to that row.
So like I'd recommend like there's no rush to get the tattoo. Like it's, you know, wait until you're like, okay, I'm done. You know, you put the caboose on it and then then commit.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So two more. You obviously see people sometimes that have regrets over particular art that they've got. Certainly not by either of you.
I've covered my own too.
Oh, okay. All right. So people change their mind, or, you know, whether it's I love, you know, Bill and now Bill's not there anymore. It's I love David or I love this person, or something entirely different. Like, well, that seemed childish, but I was 18 at the time and now I want something a little more sophisticated. Are those any more difficult to do because they've been done before, or no, it's just kind of being clever, incorporating the pre-existing design into something where it's not obvious that it's a do-over?
Oh yeah, as you're covering something up, there's a whole new pile of things to consider. I'm not a huge fan of them. Elyssa does a lot.
I do a lot.
But yeah, you just have to like, I mean, if you're tattooing somebody, a lot of the times like the skin is showing through. So if there's a tattoo underneath, that will also show through. So you just have to use, find a design that will work. Usually a lot of like texture and lines help to kind of break things up to help cover them. It usually needs to be a little bit darker. You can't do like super light colors to cover anything.
Color is a good option.
Yeah, going bigger is important. Usually, it depends on what you're covering and what you're trying to cover that with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really overall depends on like what the artist, or I'm sorry, the client wants to put over it, if it's doable or not. So I'll have someone send me like, here's this giant blob on them, and they want this like gorgeous, like realistic rose, and I'm like, that's not doable. But I will try to work with them to figure out something that's in the middle, and if they're very dead set on it, then there's laser, and you can get laser done. It'll lighten it. New London Ink, Jared does it down there, and we usually send people there, and then they just send us updated photos. And if it's when it gets light enough to be able to cover it and not see it anymore, then we can go from there. So you got a lot of options, really.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I do a lot of blackout kind of stuff, which is like getting really popular now, but it like looks really cool. But yeah, I do a lot of cover-ups if anyone wants to see them at a ton, but they're tough, but I like it because it's just an extra challenge.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know? It's just something I kind of have like a basis now, and then it's like, okay, now where do we go from here? So, and I know no matter what, the client's going to be happy because it's going to look better than what they have. Hopefully.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
All right, cool. What haven't we asked you? Like,
I don't know. I mean, I guess like quickly, like back to the Westerly stuff, we've been doing a lot of events. Downtown, we did a speed dating event with Surf Cantina.
how'd that go?
Great. They asked us to do another one. They actually sold like one of the most tickets to an event that they've done yet. I don't remember how many they sold. It was like 30 tickets or something. But everyone had a great time. I guess they got a lot of good feedback. So I think we're doing another one in September at Patty's.
Oh,
so
fun.
that'll be fun. I'm hoping like the bathing suit vibes like show off the tattoos or whatever.
Nice.
But yeah, so it was a tattoo themed speed dating event. And then yeah, as I said, we have the 5-year anniversary party. And sometimes we do flash days with businesses. Our last one was with Plants by the Pool. So that's where we have a business come in. We will do a flash sheet that's based on their business. So with Plants by the Pool, it was, you know, plants and whatever. We've done a Halloween one with them. And then clients can buy a ticket on Eventbrite. With the ticket includes the tattoo, which is you pick off the flash sheet, and then the business will give some sort of thing. Plants, I think, did like a plant and like some coupons and some like goodies and stuff. So those have been really fun like events that we do. So we post those when we do them. And yeah, I think that's kind
Awesome.
of it. Yeah.
And they were at the Virtue Art Show. They've been at a
Mhm.
Sunday Fun Day. So they're trying a little bit of everything to outreach into the community and get the word out about their Westerly location. So super cool.
Love
Yeah.
it. Love
Yeah.
it. I'm excited. I'm not getting a tattoo, but
That's okay.
For now.
Never
But
say never.
my girl, no, I will not say it never for sure. I've thought about it more than I thought I would think about it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. I've thought about it a lot more than I've ever thought that I would think about.
Okay, we get you.
And Lisa, I'm sorry. But my girlfriend has been like, she has a tattoo here, and on one shoulder, and she wants one on the other.
There you go.
So
Send her to us.
I will. I
Yeah.
will send her.
We
to
have 7 artists. 6 of us do tattoos, regular tattoos. And then we also have Savannah who does lip blushing. It's like a form of like lip tattooing, but it looks really natural. She does fabulous with it. So she does that, and I think she does freckles too. But the lip blushing is her
So she
go-to.
makes freckles on you?
People
like
like
want
tattoos them.
freckles.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
want freckles.
Yeah. Or like they want like a beauty
I want
mark
less freckles.
enhanced.
I know,
I'm
right?
covered in freckles.
Yeah, but the lip blushing is her big thing, and they look like amazing. So if anyone's interested in that, Savannah
Wow.
does that. Other than that,
Is that permanent?
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of more semi-permanent in the way that you might need touch-ups like in a few
Like
years.
every couple years, I think.
Yeah. Just because it's like an area that's exposed to a lot of elements, but
That feels like that would hurt more.
she numbs
lips.
you and stuff. So all of her clients come out like super happy.
Wow.
So I don't know. I haven't got it done, but it looks good.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Lisa, what's going on in Chamber World?
Oh, let's see. We have our last Sunday Fun Day is this week, Father's Day. So it'll be a big one. There's a car show that's happening right up here at Central Baptist Church. And simultaneously, we've got all of our activities. So there's a moon bounce, the mini golf, kids crafts. James Harris is playing and some other musical acts as part of our event. And of course, Tap Dapple, Pompelmo, Pooch's, all the restaurants will be out in the street, as well as Perks and Corks. So you can have a martini, have a beer, watch your kids play mini golf, and have a great day. It's a lovely way to spend Father's Day and to support some of the downtown shops. And each week we have different pop-ups at Sunday Fun Day. Sometimes it's businesses like Black Velvet Ink. Sometimes it's nonprofits from other parts of the community that want to come and interface with the public. So every week's a little bit different. Come check it out. And then next week is our annual dinner on June 18th. We're honoring Steve White of Westerly Community Credit Union. He's our Citizen of the Year, and also Frank Rattacco, who is our Key Award recipient. We have one other networking event coming up right around the corner. I believe it's the 25th of June, and it's from 5 to 7 at Rocks 21 in Mystic. And it's like speed dating, it's speed networking. It's called 5-minute networking. So you sit down across the table, and for 2.5 minutes, Elyssa talks about Black Velvet Ink and her passion and her services and products. And then when that's over, for 2.5 minutes, I talk about the chamber and what we've got going on. And then when the 5 minutes is over, I get up, move to the next seat, and then somebody new sits in front of her, and we start it over again. So that over the period of 2 hours, you're meeting like 30 people and really getting to know them. It's a very focused, more direct form of networking than going to a business after hours, which for some people, it's hard. It's a little hard. You've got your name tag on and you have to walk up to somebody and put your hand out and, hi, I'm this person. You have to initiate, even though everyone's there for the same reason, to meet everyone. This forces you to do it and forces you to be really efficient about it. So there's no awkwardness. We give you a drink ticket when you walk in the door. We have some appetizers, and it's actually a lot of fun. So we take maximum of one person per business, because for example, we wouldn't want a bank to sign up and have 5 employees from the bank, because if she goes, she wants to meet 5 different businesses, not 5 people from one business. So there's still a couple openings for that. You can call the chamber at 596-7761, no charge for members. And of course, we would charge any non-member that wanted to attend. So that's it in the short term. We have our Party of the Century, which is our 100th year anniversary party, taking place in Watch Hill on August 3rd. It's going to be under a tent in Watch Hill, right by the gazebo. So when the sun's setting, we're going to be partying our butts off. We have a great band called Blurred Lines. We have all kinds of great food. Watch Hill Catering, which is associated with Patty's, is our caterer. We have A Million Meatballs by Westerly Packing. We have desserts by Sift Bake Shop. We have desserts by Vesta Bakery. We have a raw bar by Watch Hill Oysters. Of course, there's going to be adult beverages and just a great time. It's not going to be speeches and a long, it's nothing like that. It's legit a party. Our annual dinner is for the formalities of things that we have to do in terms of conducting ourselves. This is just hey, we've kicked butt for 100 years and we're celebrating, and let's focus on the next 100 years, how we can keep making a difference. So we're looking forward to it. And tickets are on sale for that online at oceanchamber.org.
Love it. Thank you so much, Lisa, Brian, Elyssa.
You guys were great.
Thank
You guys were really,
This was awesome.
It was informative, and your passion really shows through in what you do, which is really great to see in any business
love it.
owner.
You guys genuinely made me reconsider getting a tattoo.
Jeez, here we go.
So we'll see. We'll stay tuned. I will get a tattoo before I jump out of a plane or swim with sharks, Lisa. So
Oh boy. I'm afraid of pain. That's my thing.
It's
But
not that bad.
jumping in the cage with the shark, I did, no problem. Because
I wouldn't even
that's a
do that.
possibility of pain, where this is guaranteed pain.
It's not that bad.
All right.
well, guys, I want to say a huge thank you to all of our chamber champions down at the bottom of the screen scrolling throughout the show. And I want to say a huge thank you to our 2 advertisers on the 321 side for this show, which are also 2 great chamber members, Lathrop Insurance and Verizon Wireless Zone at 224 Post Road in Dunn's Corners. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for being here. We will see you guys real. And by the way, the 50 under 50 videos are coming back real soon. We had a little lag in scheduling with people, and those are back.
All good.
So 50 interviews. 50 interviews. A little hard to coordinate 50 different people.
You got
kind of
this.
crazy. But thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.
What's going on, everybody? It's Patrick down here at the Wireless Zone at Dunn's Corners at 224 Post Road, and everybody down here is getting the brand new iPhone 16. We have it here in stock. The best part is, right now, if you trade in your old phone, you get it for free. We got deals all weekend, awesome savings. Come on down and see us, 224 Post Road, Dunn's Corners, Verizon Wireless Zone. We'll see you soon.
Hi, this is Dan from Lathrop Insurance. In this challenging insurance environment, Lathrop Insurance can be your beacon in the storm to help you find the coverage you need at the right price. Now, more than ever, you need a partner in the insurance industry that can work with multiple carriers to make sure you have the right coverage at the right price. Lathrop Insurance carries home, auto, and business insurance and can be reached at 401-596-2525. We've been supporting the local community since 1939, and we look forward to working with you.